what we're discussing today has been the Nkrumah Memorial Day. You've heard what the CPP had to say. You've heard what the NDC as well had to say. Very soon I'll introduce to you how Samia Nkrumah feels about what's happening so far. But I have two people on the line right now with whom I will be discussing what has happened today. Fred Agbenyo is a Deputy Communications Officer for the NDC. I also have Perry Okujeto, who is Deputy Information Minister, both of them on the line. Gentlemen, thank you very much for your time here on The Pulse, and thank you so much for waiting.
Thank you for having me. Okay,
let me start with you, Mr. Okujeto. Let's start from government's perspective. Today is a day that you are refining or redefining to be the Memorial Day, Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Day. But we haven't really heard much from governments today. Did you do anything to commemorate the day? It appears I've lost Perry Okujeto, but let me get to Fred Agbenyo. Sir, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you very much for your time. Today you've embarked on a march. Let's be clear on this. What was the march really about? Was it about the NDC itself, or was it solely for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's day?
Well, I think that the work is in solidarity, and then to remember the great of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and the work he did for Mother Ghana and the whole of the Black continent, and also to energize our base as a political party as we organize ourselves for various activities of the party.
Now, you're saying that what government is doing at the moment is something that you don't quite agree with. But in fairness to government, they've not scrubbed it totally. They're saying that this is a day that we set aside to remember someone who has played such a key role in Ghana's history, and that is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Really, should there be a big deal? I mean, with the way you seem to be very, I mean, we've heard some of your people speak, and they seem to be very aggressively in disagreement of what has happened. Is that really necessary?
Well, I was thinking that Mr. Okujeto would have answered the question you posted to him earlier as to what exactly is that the government is doing today in remembrance of this particular day. Unfortunately, it's lined up. I pray you get him back online so you can tell the whole world what is it that the government did today. Is it the case that they will declare the day a holiday and it ends there? Government will not organize anything. What is it that they want to do today? We are saying that on behalf of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, when it comes to modern Ghana, Ghana have it today geographically. Ghana have it today everywhere. Nobody can be compared to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah in terms of his contribution, in terms of he leading the charge for us to attain independence and become a nationhood. That nobody can take away from him. All that the NDC is trying to do, unless of course you don't appreciate the history of this country, then you can take it to be, oh, it's nothing, it's one of those things. No, these are persons who long before now, even after they have succeeded in overthrow of Nkrumah in 1966, we all saw the things they did when Buja took over governance in this country. By 1969, after the 69 elections, they stood in parliament, passed a law, making even the mention of Nkrumah's name a criminal offense in this country. To be seen Nkrumah's picture was deemed a criminal offense. There was a conscious effort to eliminate the memory of Nkrumah and his work from the minds of the people of this country. And so this thing that they are doing today, we know what the agenda is, we know what the agenda has always been, and we are saying that as long as we live as Ghanaians, as long as we live as a political party, we will not sit back and watch idly for anybody or any group of people to change the history of this country only because they thought they are more superior to the rest of us.
I'm not sure that government or anybody who is pushing this agenda has actually said that they're superior, or it's about, I'm not really sure if it's about an issue of superiority.
Well, they don't need to say it. Like I said,
an inferiority.
Somebody who has followed closely the activity of the Time Cambodia tradition and the way they have operated long before independence and after independence, then you appreciate the point I'm making. That is a clear case of superiority complex, a clear case of sense of entitlement, thinking that, yes, they are the only people, they own everything, they initiated everything, and so they must do what they want. And that's not happening in this country.
Right. So, but what you're doing at the moment, of course, we know that you're a party in opposition, and it appears that you may, if Ghanaians should decide to vote you back in power, change the day and change the arrangements that the government is doing now. But you realize that government has not imposed the day. What the government has done is not to impose the celebration of August the 4th. They're seeking to take it through Parliament. That is certainly the right way to go, isn't it?
My sister, the point is that there's no way NDC can stop the president, who is close with all the executive powers of the land, who has majority of members of Parliament, to do whatever it is that he wants to do. Once the president said he wants to do it, once his party has met over it and said he wants to do it, nobody can stop them from doing it. The only assurance we are giving the people of this country is that if they do it today and we come back any day in time, we'll reverse it.
Okay. Well, finally, let me find out from you. And unfortunately, we've lost Perry Okujeto, who is Deputy Information Minister. Well, I don't know, the line dropped and we're unable to reach him. We've been trying to raise him back on the line, but he's not picking up his phone at the moment, I'm told, by the production team. Let me find out finally from you. Are you not riding on the back of this quite controversial issue to gain some political points?
Well, I don't know what Ghana means to you. I don't know what Ghana's history means to you. I don't know if you see yourself more as a Ghanaian or as a political actor belonging to a political party. For us, we are seen as Ghanaians. It is true that we are a political party. We have not hidden our identity. We have not, today when we held the march, we went out in our party colors. We have never said we are CPP. We have never said we are Nkrumah. All we are saying is that they should be left to be what that's always been. That's all.
What did you expect government to do? That was a question I wanted to find out from the, I wanted to put to the Deputy Information Minister to find out what government has done. I mean, it's quite obvious that they've been quiet, but from your perspective, from the NDC's perspective, what was government supposed to do, really? What did you expect them to do?
I am certain from where I sit that if today had been 4th of August, that the president is proposing to have as a Founders Day, you would have seen a series of activities taking place across the country. But today being the 1st of September, what they didn't do today is what they will never do in future. I know they will never do anything about it.
For daughter of the former president, she's been quite not really emotional. She's bringing out a book, and one of the things that she has said is that we should actually not focus on which day to commemorate what, but that we should look at the legacy of people like her father. How do you respond to that, if you were to put in a word?
Well, I think that the whole discussion is not really about the personality, just the personality of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. It has all to do with the vision, with the ideology, what they stood for. His vision for education for this country. As far as some of us are concerned, it is still relevant. His vision for housing for this country, it is still relevant. His vision for agriculture, his vision for infrastructure development, and everything that affects us as a people. His vision for me, it is relevant at the time, it is still relevant today, and so it is something all of us we need to pay attention to. That is what is so significant. It's not really about the person of whatever Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Where we sit now, everybody can attest the fact that Nkrumah now is together at the next called Ghana. Nkrumah is celebrated internationally. Nkrumah has been voted as the greatest African of the millennium. So it's not about what Ghanaians think about his person. It's about his vision. It's about an attempt to change the history of this country. It's about an attempt to equalize, to make it look as though they did something. So why we and I know the history. That even to declare independence, they were not available. They were moving motions in UK and prevailing upon the field not to grant us independence. So since when? They were talking about federal state. They were talking about a unity country.
Today, later this evening, you're also hosting another program at the National Theatre. What is it all about?
Well, I think that this is going to be a lecture. We have several speakers that have been lined up who will come and speak to us about what the Great Osagyefo is and what his vision is, what his plan for this country is, and what we can do moving forward as a people. And so several speakers have been lined up, as rightly said. I think about 3 or 4 p.m. thereabout, the program will kickstart. And we are inviting you and your listeners and viewers to come and participate.
Okay. Well, that's an invitation there to you if you're watching and listening to Fred Agbenyo. Sir, thank you very much for your time here on The Pulse.
Thank you.
Fred Agbenyo is Deputy Communications Director with the NDC. And they have been quite loud today in commemoration of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. They're inviting you to their lecture today at the National Theatre later today. That will be around 4 p.m.